I'm very grateful to be here with all of you today. I don't think there's any other temple in ISKCON anywhere where the speaker sits so close to Prabhupada. Feel awed by the presence of Srila Prabhupada. So, Radhishampu spoke some kind words about me. I don't know if I am a walking, talking university, but whatever I am, he's the professor who made the university. I don't know. He's probably answered countless questions of mine. One time we were traveling from Pune to Mumbai. It was early days. I was just 5, 6 months ago. Adishampu and I were traveling together in the train. I asked him, "Oh, can I ask some questions?" And then he said, "Sure." And then I had multiple pages of full scape pages with notes of all questions listed. Adishampu said, "We'll need many trips to Mumbai for this." So he's been very kind to me, and I had the fortune of serving him for nearly a decade directly in Pune, and now he is focusing on Hyderabad, and you can see so many devotees uh, flourishing in Bhakti. Yesterday we had a very good youth program, and now morning class, so many devotees. So not only here, Gachipoli also, it's like one of the very flourishing congregation by his inspiration. So it's my fortune to be of some service here to all of you. And so today, this is a section of the Bhagavatam where theme of how we please the Lord is being talked about over here. And he said, even when we offer some very simple things, those please the Lord. So basically, I'll be using to write and draw certain things over here. So we are here in the world, and the Lord is above us. Of course, the Lord is inside us also, He's within us also. But we want to reach the Lord. However, the way we reach the Lord is often through the world. In some ways, we could say our sadhana is where we directly offer our consciousness to the Lord. And this is an important part of what we do. But along with that, when we do our seva is in this world. And through this world, we offer ourselves to the Lord. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about 3 levels. He says, offering our consciousness, our mind directly to Him. That is, Mayeva manadatsva may buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayaha. He says, if you can offer your mind and intelligence to me, then you will live in me right now. It's not just in future, you're already with me. If you can't do that, so that is talking about the perfected devotees whose minds are spontaneously attracted to Krishna. If he can't do that, then he says, then you try to fix your mind on me. Athachittam samadhatum na shaknosi maisthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. So you try to practice bhakti in such a way that try to fix your mind on me in such a way that you can come to me. So we could say the Uttamadhikari does not need the world. The Uttamadhikari can offer their consciousness directly to the Lord. And the Uttamadhikari sees everything as filled with Krishna. Sthavara jangam na dekhi tara murti. Sarvatra hai nija ishtadeva spurti. So it's like the material world is no longer material for them. The material world doesn't matter. But even the Uttama, they come down to the Madhyama level. Now, most of us are Kanishta, we want to go to the Madhyama level. But when they come to the Madhyama level means what? They look at the material world and they see that some part of the material world is spiritualizable, other is not yet spiritualizable. Everything has the potential to be engaged in Krishna's service, but everything is not yet engaged in Krishna's service. So therefore, they engage in the world. So the Madhyama also, so the Uttama also do this. So this is Krishna talking about 12.10 and 11. where he says, Abhyasepya samarthosi mat karma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. If you can't fix your mind on me, then you work for me, you serve me, and by that you will come to me. And then he goes on and says, if you can't serve me, then at least serve some higher cause beyond your own selfish, self-centered desires. By that also you'll come to me. So the idea is that ultimately we want to connect with Krishna. And when we talk about, say, offering a tulsi or what is talked about in this verse, it is we are taking the things of this world and offering to the Lord. And that is a means to offer the Lord. So the idea is that it's we want to offer what do we want to offer ultimately? We want to offer our heart to Krishna. That is the best offering. Now, if we can't offer our heart because say our heart is too caught in the world, then what do is we offer what is in our heart to Krishna. What does that mean? That say for most of us, our money will be in our heart. Then when we offer our money to Krishna, what happens is, because it's so close to our heart, so important to us, then we by that give a place for Krishna in our heart. That way, we're given something of value. Then that, okay, what happens with this? How is this being used? What is happening afterwards? So if our time is of value, we offer our time to Krishna. All of us are busy, but some people are extremely meticulous about their time. When they offer their time to something, they want to make sure that it's used properly. So if we can't offer our heart, we offer what is in our heart to Krishna. And whatever is valuable for us, when we offer that to Krishna, then that pleases the Lord. And the idea over here is that slowly, even if say we cannot give the entire heart to Krishna, we can at least give a part of the heart to Krishna. See, the journey is, let's say, initially, if this is my consciousness, then in my consciousness, first, I at least give a small part to Krishna. That means Krishna becomes one component in my consciousness. And by that, if this can be done steadily, if there is abhyas, if there is persistence in doing this, then gradually what happens is Krishna becomes big and Krishna fills our consciousness. So first we give a small place to Krishna, and then gradually Krishna becomes bigger and Krishna becomes the Lord of our heart. So first of all, let us start with giving something. So if we can't give our heart, give something that is in our heart to Krishna. And then if somebody says, I don't have anything of value, then okay, even if it is not of material value, Krishna says, if you offer it as an expression of your devotion, whatever you can offer, I'll accept it. So the idea is, by offering what we consider valuable, we slowly realize it is Krishna who is supremely valuable. It is by offering what is valuable, slowly, steadily, by repeatedly offering, we start realizing, yeah, these valuable things give me some pleasure, but actually when I offer them to Krishna, that gives so much more enrichment to my heart. That is supremely enriching. That is Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Sudurlabha. So the process of offering, the point of the offering is what? If we offer something valueless, no, we are not really giving Krishna a place in our heart. It's something is in the house, there is something which we don't even use at all. We are just anyway going to throw in garbage. Say, okay, you can take and you take this charity. Okay, it's anyway good to give any charity. But if it is, we don't even think about it afterwards. So when we offer what we think is valuable, what we think is valuable to Krishna. In fact, that purifies us. What we think is valuable, we offer to Krishna. The result of this is we start realizing that it is Krishna who is supremely valuable. And this is the essence of purification. Purification can be understood in many different ways. But one simple way of understanding what is purification is that there is something that is valuable and there is something that we consider is valuable. The greater the disjoint between the two things. So, what is valuable and what we think is valuable. The greater the disjoint between the two, the greater is impurity. So, for example, somebody has greed. Then what happens is, they think money is valuable. It is supremely valuable. For the sake of money, they may reject their values and ethics. They may betray their friends and relatives. They may even ruin their health. They may risk their reputation. So, the greater the distance between the two, this distance is the essence of impurity. What is valuable and what we think is valuable. And purification means that these two circles start intersecting more and more. That what is valuable and what we think is valuable starts becoming more and more in alignment. So, when there's a pure devotee, it is Krishna who is Paramartha. But when we understand that Krishna is Paramartha, then that is when we become purified fully. We become pure devotees. So right now, for all of us, there are various things which may be, practically speaking, the Paramartha. We may think Artha is of value, Paramartha is of supreme value. So for each one of us, we have different things which we value. So some people may value money, some people may value fame. Nowadays, with social media around, young people, everybody wants to be an influencer. They want to influence the world, but attempting to influence the world is influencing them so much. Isn't it? They become so agitated, they become so insecure. If some teenager posts something on social media and that doesn't get good enough likes, or somebody, their peer posts something and that gets more likes, it's like the end of the world for them. What happened? Why don't people like me anymore? So what has happened is that becomes extremely valuable. So now, yes, nobody wants to be disliked in the world. So yes, to be liked is of some value. So it may be an artha. But the problem is when the artha becomes paramartha. That means when we think that that which is artha, that we make it into a paramartha, then that becomes a anartha. So when we make any artha into paramartha, that leads to anartha. Money is important. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, artha is one of the purposes of life. But when artha becomes the paramartha, that Krishna in the Gita talks about, kamopabhoga parama etavaditi nishchitaha. That kama upabhoga, that is the supreme thing in life. And because of that, what happens? That person doesn't just become greedy for money, idamadhyamaya labdhamimam prapse manoratham, but that person can even become murderous. Asaumaya hatah shatrur hanishye chaparanapi. Kill this person, I'll kill that person also. And not only the person killing, but the person is celebrating. See how clever I have. Kill this person. Ishvaro aham bogi siddho aham balwan sukhi. So, in some ways, when two people are talking, there is always a context in their conversation. And they may not mention any name of any person. But without mentioning the name, both people know who is being talked about. So like that, if we consider the context of the Gita, in Krishna and Arjuna are talking, Krishna mentions no names. But it's quite evident that Krishna is referring to Duryodhana over here. Isn't it? He says, oh, this scheme, I've got the kingdom now. Now I'll get this scheme and I'll humiliate the Pandavas. And yakshe dasyami modishya. He says, I will do yajna. and I will give charity and I will enjoy life. That's exactly what Duryodhan did. When the Pandavas had been exiled, see, he was not satisfied. See, he got power, but he did not get popularity. Because everybody knew how he got the power, isn't it? So you can't really force people to like you. You can force people to be afraid of you, but you can't force people to like you. So he thought, I will do some yajna. And when I do yajna, I'll give a lot of charity. Then I will become popular. But the thing was, he said, I want to do the Rajasuya yajna. And he said, as long as the previous person who has done the Rajasuya yajna uh, is still alive, you cannot do the yajna. So then the first thought that came in his mind is, maybe I should kill Yudhishthir. But then he said, even my father will not allow that. And he wanted to eliminate the Pandavas, but he knew how much Bhima and Arjuna respected Yudhishthir. If he did anything to Yudhishthir, both of them would go mad and they would destroy him. So he said, okay, was there any alternative yajna? So they said, there's a yajna called the Vaishnav yajna. And then he said, okay. Now, he had no interest in Vishnu, but he wanted to do the Vaishnav yajna. Why? Because for him, a yajna was not for spirituality. The yajna was for popularity. Krishna says, yajante nama yajnaiste. They don't do yajna of naam, they do yajna for naam. They don't chant the holy names, they chant so that they can get fame. They do yajna for fame. So anyway, why are we talking about this is that this is the background to the topic we're going to discuss, that see, if any artha becomes the paramartha, then that leads to anartha. So in one sense, there is, in this world, there are many artha. As I said, if somebody is popular, somebody is good looking, somebody is intelligent, all that is artha. Now, that artha, we can use it to go toward Krishna. And then that artha becomes very positive. Or we can use that artha to try to bring it back to ourselves for our own ego. Then it becomes an anartha. So now when we are trying to serve Krishna, what are we trying to do? We are trying to offer various things to him. So Krishna is said to be bhavagrahi. He accepts the emotion of our heart. And that's what he values. Many beautiful stories about how for Krishna it is the bhava that matters the most. Which is the famous story from Ramayana for this? Where the Lord looks at the bhava. Yeah, Shabari. So Shabari offers a berry. And the Lord is so pleased, although it is half eaten. And similar in Krishna Leela, which is the bhavagrahi, Vidura. Yes, Vidura is there. He offers the banana. His wife actually offers the banana leaves, banana skin, in fact, banana peel. Who else? Sudama. Yes, he offers just some broken rice, practically speaking. In the Ramayana also there's another story. The squirrel. Yes. So the Lord is pleased even with her. The squirrel, all the what she's doing is very, very small. So there are many stories which depict how the Lord sees our heart, and if you're offering something with the heart, he accepts it. Now let's try to understand this in terms of a 4-quadrant diagram. There is when we are trying to offer to Krishna, our offering to Krishna, there is the size of the offering, and then there is the spirit of the offering. The spirit is the bhava, the mood with which you are offering. And the size is what we are offering. Now, if there is no size and no spirit, then there is no devotion at all. One is not offering anything at all to the Lord. So, the idea is that, okay, even if I believe in God, God is up there, I am here, I don't need anything to do with God. So, when I started practicing Bhakti, I wanted to share Bhakti with everyone, with all my relatives and friends. So when one of my relatives, I told him, and he said, I have a time-tested policy I have a principle for my relationship with God. I said, what is that? He's happy there, I am happy here. So the idea is live and let live. But the problem is that we won't be happy for very long over here. The world is dukkhalaya. Somebody say, I don't want any connection with God at all. Then there is not much devotion at all. Now, generally speaking, we could say the best is where we have the spirit of the offering, where the mood is devotional, and the size of what we have offer is also substantial. That is, the Lord had a mission, and the Lord, for example, Lord Ram had a mission to build the bridge, and the Lord appreciated the squirrel. At the same time, the bridge was not built by the squirrel's contributions. Now we could say the Lord could have built the bridge himself, and that is true. But when someone is serving the Lord, the Vanaras who brought huge bricks, not the huge boulders, rocks and boulders, they help build the bridge. So we want to do some tangible service because the Lord has a mission in the world. So the best is where we are having a substantial size of the offering, and then the heart is also there. So we would like to get there. However, what happens is, sometimes, now if we may have the spirit of the service, a spirit of the offering, and there's not much size of the offering, that is also good. Krishna, that's what Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam is. 926, the verse which Prabhupada quotes. That is, Krishna doesn't really prioritize the size of the offering. Like there is, what to speak of Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. In the Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu, it is said we can even do Manas Puja. Manas Puja is that we can just offer in our mind valuable things to Krishna, and Krishna accepts that. However, there is a caveat, there is a condition, there is a warning over there that Manas Puja is to be done when we cannot do practical puja. It is not that Bhagwan ka naam to 24 hours the Lord's name is going on in my heart. Why do you need to chant publicly? Why do you mean an exhibition of chanting? Exhibition of love. There is a difference between an exhibition of love and an expression of love. It's like the Lord's name is going on 24 hours. You say, but why doesn't it come out for 1 minute? Isn't it? They say, so actually what is inside has to be expressed. So the idea is that if we cannot offer something in size, we offer at least the spirit. Like the Lord should be our first option. He should be our topmost priority in life. And that's why we want to offer the best to the Lord. It's like, suppose a boy proposes to a girl, please marry me. And the girl asks, okay, why do you want to marry? Because no other girl in town is ready to marry. Now, that is not the most romantic of proposals. So, now like that, we may say, my dear Lord, I have tried everything, nothing is working. You are the last resort. I have come to you now. I came to you because nothing else is working. Now, if the girl accepts the boy's proposal, that shows the girl's love for the boy, not the boy's love for the girl. Isn't it? So, later on, if the boy has other options and still he sticks with the girl, that's when that shows the boy's love for the girl. Similarly, when we say, my dear Lord, nothing else is working. Please help me. You are my last option. The Lord will still accept us. But that shows His love for us, not our love for Him. Our love for Him will be seen even when we have other options, still we stick to the Lord. Oh Lord, I don't have any money. Please help me. Oh, I've got money now. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, no. The Lord should not be our last option. The Lord should be our first option. The Lord is what we want to offer the best to Him. So it's like, so the idea is the nature of, when Krishna says Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, see, relationships are two ways. That like if I am here and the Lord and Krishna is here, then when Krishna says that whatever you offer, I accept it. That is His love. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, like that, this verse also. But that is His love. Now, our love will be I offer my best. We want to offer the best that we can to Krishna. Then that is our love for Krishna. So in that sense, a devotee can be reassured that even if I cannot offer substantial things to Krishna, Krishna will still see my heart and accept my heart. At the same time, a devotee wants to offer the best things in the world to Krishna. So that's why I said that the spirit is important and it is good if we have the spirit. At the same time, it is best if we can offer, there is a spirit and there is the size of the offering also. Srila Prabhupada's heart was always with Krishna. But Prabhupada also wanted to offer the world to Krishna. And that's why Prabhupada went all the way from India to America. You know, Prabhupada's spiritual master had told him that if nobody comes, then preach to the walls. And Prabhupada was trying vigorously to preach in India, but somehow it's just not working. Prabhupada was preaching in English, and Indians, the level of people who were educated in English at that time were very little. And number of people who were educated, the education, the post-independence education was highly leftist. India chose socialism. So people who were educated, they were highly leftist oriented and they were not really interested in philosophical spirituality. So now Prabhupada could have said that, oh, actually, maybe this is Krishna's plan for me. That for the rest of my life, I should preach to the walls. That is what my spiritual master told. If no one comes, preach to the walls. No, that is the spirit. We should never lose the spirit of serving. But Prabhupada also wanted to have the size of the offering. And then what did he do? It is, Prabhupada saw that Indians are infatuated by the West. So he said, let me go to the West. Now it's interesting the strategy that Prabhupada used over here. We could say Indians not being interested in spirituality, that is Maya. Indians being infatuated by the West is also Maya. So Prabhupada used one form of Maya to counter another form of Maya. Isn't it? So Prabhupada used the Indian infatuation with the West, with the white skin, to trigger Indian interest in Bhakti spirituality once again. The Bhagavatam says if a thorn has gone in your leg, you have to use another thorn to take out the thorn. So Prabhupada wanted the size of the offering also. And then how Krishna reciprocated with him in the last 10 years. Extraordinary. Hundreds and hundreds or 100 temples and thousands and thousands and thousands of devotees from all over the world. So we would like to go from, if the spirit is there, that is good, but we would like to have spirit with the size. Now similarly, if the size is there and the spirit is not there, that is also good. Because sometimes somebody may do a service for whatever motive, but somebody gives a big charity. They say, I want to build a temple, my name should be very prominent over there. Okay, that may be not the purest charity, but they do that charity. But what happens after that temple is built? So many people come and have darshan of the Lord and they get purified. And this person may also may take a little more time to get purified. But through their service, what happens is others are benefited. So if somebody can offer the size, but even if they cannot offer somebody can offer the size, even they're not offering the spirit so much. Krishna accepts that and we can also accept that. If you see in many ways, Prabhupada's disciples who came from the West, some of them were from very wealthy families, but most of them had rejected mainstream society, mainstream culture, mainstream education, and their heart was with Prabhupada and with Krishna. But they didn't have much wealth with them. So they came to India. So we could say Srila Prabhupada disciples, now I'll come to a little point, but many of them, they left everything for Krishna's sake. When they came to India, they had nothing practical. Or went to many of the parts of the world. When these three couples went to London, they had nothing. They were living wherever they could just find some place to stay. So they had the spirit. But then what happened is, with that spirit, when they continued serving, Krishna arranged. Krishna arranged for them to meet George Harrison, who was probably the most famous person, at least the most famous cultural person in the world at that time. At that time, they had discovered a new satellite around Jupiter. And by mass vote, it was mass like West vote, they decided to name that satellite after George Harrison. He was so popular at that time. So he was introduced, and through him, millions became introduced. The size of the offering also became large. Now, we could say when Srila Prabhupada came to India, not many people became devotees, but there were a lot of life members. And these life members, they appreciated Srila Prabhupada not so much as their own personal guru, as a proof of the glory of Indian culture. Now, oh, this Swami is so great. He went to America and he made Americans into devotees. So there was definitely some appreciation for Prabhupada, but very few of them became dedicated disciples of Srila Prabhupada. It was for them, what Prabhupada represented was more important than who Prabhupada was. So they were attracted. This is the Swami. Indians have been ruled by the West for so long, but now Indian culture is conquering the West, and this Swami is doing this. So that was their appreciation. Many of them were very well to do. And although they never offered their heart to Prabhupada in the sense of becoming disciples of Srila Prabhupada, but they offered a lot of service. They gave funds, they used their contacts to push through the bureaucracy in India. And that's how many of the temples were built. So, if the size is there, from the size, gradually the spirit may also come about. So, many of them, I was talking with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj recently. He was telling that one of the life members, he helped Prabhupada a lot. Now, in the Juhu temple in Mumbai, and he said that this particular person, when he was in the last days, Maharaj went to meet him, and then he was completely sick and emaciated. But as soon as he saw Maharaj, he started glorifying Srila Prabhupada. He says, so Prabhupada did this and Prabhupada did that, and Prabhupada was like this, and Prabhupada was so great. He said that, although he never became an initiated disciple, all the service that he did, his heart was filled with so much appreciation for Prabhupada. Now Krishna, I said, is Krishna going to see when he dies? Was he initiated by Prabhupada or not? The size of the service that he did was substantial. Prabhupada said, you build a temple for Krishna over here, and Krishna will build a house for you in the spiritual world. So the idea is that even if somebody does a substantial size, that is also good. So ideally, we want to come to the level of the size and the spirit both being together. But some people may start from the size and come to the spirit. Some people may start from the spirit and then gradually come to the size. Now, both of them are good. Now, what we don't want is somebody starts with the spirit and then gives up the spirit also. Isn't it? And somebody starts with the size and then they give up the size also. Both of these are unhealthy. So I'll talk about how these two may happen, and then we will conclude and we'll have some question answers. So let's start with the spirit first. So from the spirit, when we want to do some service to Krishna and we earnestly want to serve, but somehow things are not working out, results are not manifesting. We are trying to maybe raise funds, we are trying to build a temple, we are trying to have a startup program, whatever is it that we are trying to do for Krishna. In spirit, we want to offer it to Krishna, but somehow it is not working. Not working in the sense that results are not coming. Nothing seems to be manifesting. So at that time, it is possible that over a period of time, we start becoming bitter. Why is this not working? Why is that not working? And while this can happen for somebody who starts with a very sincere desire to serve, but then it doesn't work and they start becoming very bitter. It's important for us. We would like to do big projects for Krishna, but the biggest project is our own heart. That is what we want to offer to Krishna. Sometimes when we get so caught in trying to do a service, And then, then we expect support or appreciation or cooperation from others. And when that doesn't happen, then we start becoming a little irritated, we start becoming bitter, we start becoming resentful. This person is not helping me, this person is obstructing me, this person is doing like this person is doing like that. And then it's when I travel across the world, meet many different kinds of devotees. Sometimes some devotees, they have so much bitterness in their heart. A complaint about this and complaint about that and complaint about that and complaint about that. And there can be genuine grievances. It's not to deny that they're just complaining. But the point is that ultimately there are grievances everywhere in the world. And we are trying to serve Krishna, but the institution is still in the world. So there will be grievances. But we don't want to become complaint conscious. We want to be Krishna conscious. If trying to do a service, trying to do a project is leading to bitterness in our heart, then is that project really worth it? Like in trying to offer the world to Krishna, our heart is going away from Krishna. That was the glory of Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada's heart never became bitter. Prabhupada tried for so many decades to serve Krishna, but nothing was working. And even his god brothers, with all due respects to them, they didn't help him. And Srila Prabhupada got the dream that his spiritual master came in his dream and told, take sannyas. Then he wrote to one of his god brothers, and his god brother said, sannyas? He said, first you have to come and stay in the ashram. You're not even lived as a brahmachari. First you come and stay in the ashram for a few years, show that you are disciplined, show that you are detached, and after observing you, our authorities will decide whether we can give you sannyas. Prabhupada was already 69. Prabhupada didn't have such time. So when he was in America, he wrote to an Indian donor and he said that Padampat Singhania, and he agreed that we can build a temple in America. He was ready to give funds. But at that time, the Indian government was very rigid about foreign exchange. So sending money out of India was very difficult. So one of his god brothers was in Vrindavan. He requested him, please go to Delhi and just talk. He had a good relationship with the president of India. So he said, please go and talk with the president of India. Tell him, please allow this foreign exchange to go through. And his god brother didn't even bother to reply to his message. He wrote 2-3 times, and that is, it will not be possible to help you. So it is like the passive tense is often the used to not take responsibility. It is not possible to do this. That means I won't do it. It's saying that, but it will not be possible to do this. So the Prabhupada did not get any help from anyone. But yet Prabhupada did not become bitter. Even when he came back to India, he brought his disciples to Vrindavan. He actually took them, he introduced them to his god brothers. And so Prabhupada was always respect. Of course, sometimes unfortunately some of them tried to become possessive and take his disciples for himself. That was unfortunate. But my point is, Prabhupada's glory is not just that he made such a huge offering. It was when none of his offerings were working, his heart never became bitter. So here, the way we may go down is if our heart becomes bitter. So if in if we are doing the service in spirit, but we are longing, why is the service not manifesting in size? Then we want it to have manifest in size. So if we endeavor sufficiently, Krishna will give results in due course. But if that endeavor is causing us so much anger and agony and irritation, Krishna wants bhajatam priti purvakam, not bhajatam gruna purvakam, not bhajatam complaint purvakam. So sometimes we have to learn that, okay, this is not working. It's okay. I can still offer my heart to Krishna. So it's not easy, because what happens is, we still live in the world, and we need to have the we need to see things in the world. See, we say Shabda Praman is important, but for all of us, we need Pratyaksha Praman, isn't it? Even for Bhakti, When we come to a temple and we say, oh, there are so many devotees, then we feel maybe I am not doing anything so strange. I'm doing something which is good. We go to Mayapur and we see thousands and thousands of devotees. Oh, this seems to be a good thing to do. That's pratiksha pramana. So we also need some tangible things in this world. We want results in this world. So let's look at this last part now. We are trying to have a size, and then we want to make a bigger size of the offering. And from the size, we can come to the spirit. See, some people have ability. Some people, by their past karma, may not have so much ability. So what happens is that in bhakti, for Krishna, ability is important. Ability is what we can do. But more important than ability, that is not important, is availability. Are we there for serving Krishna? That means whatever way Krishna wants us to serve, if Krishna gives us ability, we'll serve with ability. If we don't have that ability, but still our availability is there. Now, if somebody has ability, naturally their impact will be much more. Somebody is a good speaker, somebody is a good singer, somebody is a good manager, somebody is a good planner. Naturally, these are material attributes and these will lead to substantial services in the world. So, we may all want a significant size for our service, and that should not be seen as a sign of the ego. We all, as I said, from here, we could go by first trying to have a size. Okay, I want to do something big. I want to build a temple for Krishna. I want to have this project for Krishna. I want to be the number one book distributor for Krishna. So that may be fine. This can be the via media. By doing the size, gradually we may come to the heart. Once one devotee was doing kirtan, and he was a very good singer, and he was doing kirtan in the evening, and Prabhupada was in the temple, so Prabhupada came for darshan, and Prabhupada tapped him on the shoulder. He says, nice kirtan. And then he turned to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, sometimes I feel proud. And then Prabhupada again tapped him on the shoulder. What's wrong with that? And walked away. I say, what's wrong with pride? Pride is dambho darpo abhimanascha krodha parushyameva. It's a demoniac quality, we may say. But the point is that what Prabhupada was saying is that actually, even if there is some pride over there, how is the pride going to go away? It is, the gopis say that, Nija jana smaya dhvamsana smita. That it is Nija jana, your own people, smaya. Smaya is pride. If they got prior, dhvamsana smita, it is your glance that destroys, it is your smile rather, that destroys their pride. So what has happened is the gopis are trying to figure out, why did Krishna go away? It's like one moment Krishna was with them, and the next moment Krishna is gone. It's like we are talking with someone, and we're talking with someone, we're thinking, we look away and we look back, nobody's there. The other person's gone. Where did he go? Why did he go? What happened? So Krishna just left. And the gopis are coming up with various theories why Krishna has gone away. So one theory they come up with, maybe we became proud. So they are saying, even if we have become proud, Krishna, it is when you come back and you please reveal your beauty to us, you bestow your beatific smile on us. And when we behold your smile, actually, whatever little pleasure is there in pride, that we realize that pleasure is so insignificant, that the pleasure in beholding your beauty is so much greater. The pleasure in thinking I am so great, there is some pleasure in that, thinking I am great, especially getting others to think I am great and getting others to tell me that I am great. There is some pleasure in that. But as compared to that, when we actually realize and relish how great Krishna is, you say, okay, this pleasure is just like a puddle of water. That pleasure is like an ocean. Twadvirya gayan mahamrita magna chittaha. Prahlad Maharaj says that once we get a taste for the glories of the Lord, then nothing else matters. See, He's saying that shoche tato vimukha chetasa indriyarthan. He says those who are chasing the sense objects, what happens is, I feel they are they're, they are missing so much. For such little pleasure, they are going after, they're giving you up, my Lord. So what happens is here that, see, Prahlad, if you consider Prahlad Maharaj here, then for him, sense pleasure is like a tiny drop. And as compared to that, Krishna's glories are like a vast ocean. And then he is feeling that if somebody is giving up, so he's focused on this, he's relishing this, he says, why would anyone go for this? But for us, what happens is our perception is off right now. So for us, sense pleasure is big and Krishna's glories are small. We think, okay, coming to temple and participating in some kirtan, that's nice. But going to a party and enjoying and having fun and sensual pleasure, that seems to be like an ocean. So because of that, what happens is, we think even when we are having this, like we are having this, but we are looking at this. It's when we are having sense, when we are having Krishna consciousness, now when Prahlad Maharaj is relishing Krishna's glories, he is thinking, oh, others are missing this. But when we are hearing Krishna consciousness, we are thinking, oh, I am missing that. So what happens is, but if somehow or the other we get some experience of Krishna, then we realize this is so special, this is so extraordinary. Yad rasamrit truptasya nanyatra syadrati kvachit. So you get this taste, oh, there's nothing like this. So we want that experience. So what happens is, it is only by doing service, even if our heart is not there in the service, even if our devotion is not there, it is just the activity of doing service brings us in the association of devotees, brings us in the presence of Krishna. And there we can get the experience of Krishna. The gopis are saying that even if we have pride, O Lord, if you come in front of us and if you give us your darshan, then seeing your beautiful smile will destroy our pride. So like that, even if somebody is doing some service with a bit of an ego, we don't want to reject that person. Let them do the service. And then gradually, by doing that service, they will start realizing that actually the service gives me more pleasure than showing to the world that I have done this service and being praised for having done that service. However, this is the last part, that so it is, if somebody doesn't have the right spirit, but they wants to do some service, we need to engage them, we need to appreciate them. And so Prabhupada created Food for Life. From Prabhupada's perspective, it was, he saw somebody's child starving and searching through the garbage can for some food. And Prabhupada wanted to help that child. So now, on the other hand, many people, when they come and do some service like that, they may do it only because at a humanitarian level. But if in the process of that they come in the association of devotees, in the process of that they start appreciating devotees, by that they will come toward Krishna. But the problem when we may go in this direction is, the last part, there are three things we need to be careful of. That while doing service, this is a map we can keep in mind, that what may happen because of which we, in seeking this, okay, we are offering a big service to Krishna. So, but three things may go wrong, because of which, first, M is our mind may become bitter. Like I mentioned earlier, that can happen either way. That can happen either because I am not able to do any size of service, but it is that I am doing a service of big size, but people are not giving me recognition big enough. And then the problem with fame is that no matter how much we get, it is not enough. So if our mind is becoming bitter while we are trying to do service, it's becoming very, very competitive, then that is a big problem. So then, okay, then let me not fixate so much on the size of a service. If I distribute 1,000 books and I come and I'm very happy, and I come back and see that somebody else has distributed 1,100 books, instead of feeling happy that more of Krishna's message has been distributed, I become bitter. Why did he distribute so many books? And start plotting. How can I make sure that the devotee doesn't distribute books? Sometimes it happened that there are questionable methods used. So the other is the mind becomes bitter, then our ambition becomes too great. Ambition, Prabhupada said, personal ambition is the poison. If our ambition starts becoming self-centered too much, and for that we often need the association of devotees. That's why, see, when we are growing in our bhakti, along with the bhakti lata beach, other things, weeds may also start growing. And for us, it is very difficult to identify the weeds. It is somebody else has to tell us. That's why having good relationship with devotees, especially our peers and superiors, is important so that they can give us some feedback. So slowly, what will happen is, otherwise, start with the aspiration of serving Krishna, but then slowly it becomes that I'm start serving my own ego. I want my glory to be known. I may say, okay, my fame is for Krishna's sake, but then we become more concerned about our own fame than for Krishna's sake. I'm a senior devotee. Some people, they act as if I'm a senior devotee. Panchang won't do Dandavats yet offer. You know, when you come to the temple, we don't see the Lord, we see how many people are offering obeisances to me. No, that is, the ambition is becoming, it is poisoning our devotion at that time. And the last is the path. The path or the process becomes questionable. That means, in trying to make a big offering to Krishna, we start doing questionable things. Say like, I want to distribute more books than someone else. So what happens? Early in the morning, everybody going for distribution. I go and puncture the tire of the other bus party. So that they will lose time and then I can distribute more books. So what is happening is, if you start using questionable methods, then the point is not just that we want to be the best for Krishna, that we want to do it in such a way that is pleasing to Krishna. So sometimes what happens is, instead of I trying to do more for Krishna, I make sure that others do less. And then that is very unfortunate. That happens. So when we want to serve Krishna, but the path should be such that my service to Krishna should not be at the cost of stopping other service to Krishna. Let others serve Krishna and I'll also serve Krishna. And if Krishna blesses me, my service will be more. If Krishna blesses somebody else, their service be more. So, if, for conclude with Srila Prabhupada, that was his glory, that sometimes throughout his life, when especially some things happened where some of his disciples were being misled, Prabhupada had to be very protective. And he spoke some strong things about his god brothers at some time. But Prabhupada never lost perspective. When one of his god brothers, about whom Prabhupada had spoken very strongly, he departed from the world. And devotees asked, where did he go? So Prabhupada had said, he's like an envious snake. And they would ask them, sometimes, somebody whom we don't like or dislike, we get a perverse gleam saying, okay, which hell did this person go to? Where did he go to? Prabhupada was very grave. He said, he went back to Godhead. He said, my spiritual master is very powerful and he served my spiritual master. So what happened is that his relationship with Prabhupada was not very good. But that did not blind Prabhupada to the fact that he had served his spiritual master. So Prabhupada had that breadth of consciousness, and toward the end of his life, when he was in Vrindavan, many of his god brothers came to meet him. Prabhupada said, for the sake of preaching, sometimes we have to speak many strong things. But if I have offended you, please forgive me. Prabhupada said, I am Mahapatit. Then his god brother said, no, you are Mahapatit Pavan. You are the purifier of great people. So Prabhupada always maintained his consciousness. And the test of that, Prabhupada wanted the size of the offering, but Prabhupada's heart was always with Krishna. See, it is that Prabhupada fought for the Juhu temple. Somehow this realization was right. This thing, reality was right in front of me. It's only just last 6 months it struck me. I'm just not able to forget that And it's amazing. See, Prabhupada worked hard, harder than any other project for one project, which was that Juhu temple. And if you see, the Juhu temple was inaugurated in Jan 14th, Sankranti, 1978. And Prabhupada left the world in November 14th, just 2 months away. Now, when Prabhupada was asked, do you have any last desires? Prabhupada said, Kuch ichha nahi. But see the level of detachment. Prabhupada could have said to Krishna, Krishna, I worked so hard for this temple for you. Just let me see the inauguration of the temple. But even when Prabhupada was making an offering to Krishna, for Prabhupada, Krishna was more important than the offering. So it's the level of that devotion which Prabhupada had. Okay, if Krishna's plan is he wants to call me back, I accept that. So Prabhupada was always more attached to Krishna than to the things with which he was serving Krishna. Even if that was a big temple, the biggest temple, the grandest temple that he had fought for. So Srila Prabhupada has given us an example of how to have both size and spirit at the same time, to never lose the sense, the spirit, for the sake of the size. So I'll summarize what we discussed. So we're talking today of theme of offering to Krishna. How to make devotional offerings to Krishna. And the first point I started is that for most of us, we offer directly our consciousness to Krishna through our sadhana, but we cannot do that all the time. And for us, we also need to have serve in the world. So it is our seva is what we offer through the world. And the idea is we want to, the first priority is offer heart. But if we can't offer the heart, then we want to offer what is in our heart. So what I consider valuable right now, when I offer that to Krishna, then that helps me realize that it is Krishna who is supremely valuable. So I discuss about from Artha, it can take us toward Paramartha, then that is good. But sometimes the Artha itself can become the Paramartha. And if the Artha becomes the Paramartha, then that leads to Anartha. So thinking of wealth as the supremely important thing, then that becomes an Anartha. So for us, we may want wealth, money and popularity and fame to serve Krishna. But if that becomes the most important thing, more important than Krishna, that will be an Anartha. And then the main talk was around this diagram. We want the size of the offering and the spirit of the offering. So if none are there, there's no devotion at all. And that certainly we don't want. But now if we are offering, it's good to be here to have the spirit, and we can try to go towards the size. So even say, Srila Prabhupada's journey was this way. He had the spirit always, and from there he came to the size. This was Srila Prabhupada's journey, we could say. Even many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they didn't have any resources, but then they, with their earnestness, they also created resources. Now, for many of the life members during Prabhupada's times, they offered substantial size, and eventually some of them, they came and offered their heart to Krishna also. So it's not that the wanting one's own name is a bad thing, because sometimes that will itself bring us in the presence of Krishna, and that will purify us. But what we don't want is, we don't want to go in seeking the spirit, we don't want to go away from the size also. And seeking the size, we don't want to go away from the spirit also. And how that may happen, we discuss through that. For us, we need to make sure that we remember my heart is the most important thing to offer. If we talk about three things, MAP, if my mind becomes bitter, if then I'm not offering my consciousness at all to Krishna. If my ambition itself changes, ambition reverses in the sense that not for Krishna's sake, my case, and the path that I follow becomes questionable, that is an indication that maybe we have to do some course correction. And for that, we need devotee guidance to help us differentiate between the beej versus the weeds. So with devotee guidance, from wherever we are, we can move closer to Krishna and ultimately offer our heart to Krishna in the best way that is possible for us. So let us all pray. My dear Lord, whatever I can offer to you, you are so kind that you accept it. Please bless me so that I can offer my heart to you. I can offer what is in my heart to you. If you want, let my offering to you be of a large size. But please don't let the pursuit of the size ever take me away from the spirit of the offering, which is for your pleasure and your pleasure alone. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Devotees having question, they can raise your hand. Raise hand, the mic will come to you.
You want to comment anything? You want to comment anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for the very wonderful class. So my question is on that when we are moving from size to the spirit, so we have been taught about the Varnashrama system wherein we do Yajna Dana Tapa, and but wherein we are is the current age wherein it's not very feasible to practice Varnashrama. So I just have this question sometimes that how can this red line that from size also we degrade and to know devotion, is this more in during the varnashrama or during the kali yuga where no varnashrama is possible? Because it often bewilders me to think how in varnashrama we are doing everything is so nice basically, and in that we are doing some little offering, maybe a sizable offering also with not much of devotion or spirit, but somehow or other it is bringing the spirit and we are getting detachment and we are going and we are developing this. But is it more feasible in varnashrama or is it more feasible in kali yuga where
See, it is ultimately we have to serve in the world as we have right now. Bhakti does not give us the power to turn back the clock. Krishna is time and time is moving in a particular way. So, was it easier doing a Varnashram? Definitely, the social structure was such that, say, those who were devotionally minded, they didn't have to worry much about livelihood. The if you see Chaitanya Charitamrut, it is very much existing in the foundation of a culture that was very supportive of bhakti. Even though the political culture might have been violent, but still the social culture otherwise was such that the Vaishnavas from Bengal didn't have to worry when they went for 4 months. Will we get leave from our workplace for 4 months? Isn't it? So it was relatively conducive at that time. But even there also, it is possible. We have the Yogic Brahmanas. They got so caught in the rules that they forgot the purpose of the Lord. So Maya is everywhere. The opportunity to go connect with Krishna is everywhere, and the potential to get distracted Maya is everywhere. So it is there today also. It is there in the past also. Now, whether it is more today, whether it is less, yeah, it is more today. But what can we do about it? We just do the best that we can in the situation that we are in. In fact, that is also one meaning of surrender, or one aspect of surrender is to do what we can with what we have now. This is what I have, this is what I can do, let me do it right. That is surrender. So just do what we can right now. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I have a question. Like our mind is so empowering that sometimes it takes a willpower and determination and makes us an idle man. So how to
Makes us an
makes us idle? Like we
okay.
don't want to do anything. It becomes
Okay.
restless. So how to control that mindset?
See, it's see, the mind is like a child. We can call the mind an enemy, but it's not that we can use a nuclear weapon to destroy the mind. We have to live with the mind. So it's like there are so many parenting books, but every parent has to deal with their child on their own, isn't it? So, like that, each one of us has to find out the best way we can deal with our mind. That's why yena kena prakarena. So, And sometimes there are some things which the mind just doesn't like to do. Then we may have to say, okay, I won't do this, but this is important for me. This is what I am going to do. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to do this. So slow, Krishna says we have to make the mind our friend. That means sometimes we need to negotiate. Okay, you don't like this, okay, I won't do it. But even if you don't like this, I am going to do it. So it's like, say, if I am here and my mind is here. So what we need to do is, in our interactions with the mind, there are some things which are a must for me. And there are some things which are an absolute no for the mind. Whatever happens, I won't do this. So I was trying to do a mediation between two devotees, and one devotee said that I can see that you're very angry with me. What have I done to make you so angry? And the second devotee said, you exist. Now, if somebody has an attitude like that, you really can't mediate at that time. And the second devotee is not really saying it in a facetious way. They're saying, I just don't know, but everything about you I dislike. The sound of your voice, the way you laugh, the way you put your tilak, everything I dislike. Now sometimes it's just, you can't do it. You can't help it. So, if we can't get along with some devotees, we can keep a distance. But we don't have to spoil the relationship. So what happens is something the mind just does not like. And okay, it's causing too much agitation, I'll put this aside. But these are things I have to do. So we need to negotiate with our mind. We can't always dominate our mind. Sometimes we have to dominate, no doubt. This I am going to do. So what is non-negotiable for us, we have to dominate. But sometimes something is not that important. Like somebody says, I'll fast Nirjal on Ekadashi. And they just can't do it. Okay, the mind gets agitated and they just feel very restless. And then they fast Nirjal once, and then after that, they never fast at all afterwards. Because they said this was such a bad experience, I'll never do it again. Not only not in fast nature, they don't fast at all. No, then we don't have to do so much. Okay, this is too difficult. Okay, there are some things we can do later. Like say India is Pakistan as an enemy, China as an enemy. India did some surgical strikes and restricted Pakistan to some extent. No, India has not dealt with China the same way. We are not yet strong enough to do that. We will become stronger. So like that, some of our conditionings we can fight right now. Some of our conditionings we can't fight right now. So we have to choose our battles. So we need to become stronger. By our practice of bhakti, we will become stronger. Our mind will also become purified. So negotiate and make sure that our non-negotiables in bhakti, we do them. Others, we can adjust.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. So, Prabhuji, just like during summer, we prefer AC rather than fan.
We prefer
ACs.
Okay, AC, okay.
Rather than fan. So, during this offering also, we offer to someone who gives us in return the fame, or like we offer the big amount to them who gives us return something. This is our condition. So how we can realize that we should offer to this particular thing, rather whether good or bad, but we should not accept anything, expect anything in back return. So if we offer this like this mentality, so it will be good according to us. But our condition is that we go to that first. We go to that organization or something which gives us better thing in return. So how to overcome this? I think
it's like we have to become devotees before we become pure devotees, isn't it? Sometimes what we say is that you are here, you are not even a devotee, and offer to Krishna and expect nothing in return. And they will say, I will not come in return only to you. Isn't it? So it's like we are expecting people to take a high jump from here to here. And what happens is they go further away only. So we have to become devotees before we become pure devotees. That means that sometimes we may seek something in return, or somebody may seek something in return, and then that's okay. Gradually they will become purified. Purification doesn't happen overnight. So in general, even when we seek some reciprocation, it depends. It's not that when somebody is seeking some recognition, it's always an expression of the ego. Say if we have done some service, and after that there's a difference between appreciation and glorification. See, seeking appreciation is actually a need of the heart. If I have done some service, and then if I have done some service to please some devotees, and those devotees are pleased with me, they tell that to me. See, the difference between appreciation and glorification is appreciation is given to us, glorification is told to the world. So, wanting appreciation is understandable. If you do some service and the devotee for me who do service, they appreciate. It's a very important service. Tell them, don't tell me, announce in public. That is glorification. So, appreciation is a need of the heart. When you say bodhayantaha parasparam or guhyamakhyati pruchyati. So, appreciation it's natural. It's not we want to know also that what I'm doing is valuable, that I should continue doing this. So, we can't have unrealistic expectations from ourselves. So so if somebody gives us fame, so by fame you are talking about glorification more. But if somebody wants to, we want to feel that if I do some service, that person should recognize my service. That's not a wrong thing. It's only when we start thinking that I will start serving anyone who will give me recognition, and then we start serving somebody non-devotee, somebody the materialist, somebody the abusive person also, and that becomes a problem. But within the ambit of bhakti, it's an incremental growth that will happen. So just continue serving, and gradually our need for that validation from others will decrease. Now Srila Prabhupada wanted to show his god brothers that he had preached and he had made so many devotees. No, that was just, it is the spiritual master's mission. He was carrying forward that mission. They were also carrying forward that mission. He wanted to show the success. But then, when some of them, again, I'm not want to criticize them, they are also great souls, and many of them appreciated Prabhupada also. But when some of them didn't appreciate, Prabhupada did not need validation from them. He was confident that I am doing service, and he continued his service. So for all of us, we see how things work. So incremental progress. Don't have unrealistic expectations. I should be able to do service without any reciprocation at all from anyone. But the problem with that expectation is that we will give up service only, and that's not very healthy.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, we want to increase the size. In that way, actually, we start, building up our abilities. So, but ability, we want to increase our abilities. So, in that way, we forgot about spirit. Actually, we lose.
Yeah.
So, how to know the level of our ability, means limit of our ability, and even if you want to build that, how to not lost our spirit.
I think what Krishna talks about work in the mode of ignorance in the 18th chapter, that when the endeavor becomes so disproportionate that our consciousness gets disrupted, then talks about 4 things over here. So Prabhupada, ayuktaha prakrita stabda chato naishkrutika alasa vishadi dirgha sutricha karta tamasa uchyate. That when are we doing something beyond our abilities? Ayuktaha, when that makes us disconnected from Krishna. Prakrutaha, we become very materially conscious. Oh, this person has more ability than me, this person has less ability than me. So we start respecting only devotees who have ability. And those who don't have any ability, we start trivializing them. If our service is fundraising, if a devotee is contributing money, we give them a lot of respect. The devotee is not contributing any money, we just treat them like dirt. Ayuktaha prakruta stabdha. Stabdha means we become very arrogant. It especially one easy test to know whether our endeavor is, we have become too fixated is, there may be senior devotees to us who actually are doing service, but they may not have got material success in their service. If we lose respect for them, just because the size of their service is not large, then if you start becoming disrespectful, that sabda, that impudence is the problem. Shatho naishkritiko lasaha. Shatho is that one becomes duplicitous, one becomes cunning. So, manipulative, telling this over there, telling that over there, and trying to do politics to get success. Then naishkritiko. Naishkritiko is where a person becomes expert at insulting others. It's like, there is physical assassination, there is character assassination. Spread rumors about others so that others can't do services. And all this in Rajoguna. And when all this doesn't lead to success, then we go to the other extreme. That we go to Tamoguna. Alasaha. We become very lazy. We just stop doing things. Vishadi Dirga Sutrija. One thing doesn't work, we start lamenting so much. And then Dirga Sutri. Dirga Sutri is we start procrastinating things. So sometimes it's like we start a project and we started the project 10 years ago and the project has not gone beyond the start till now. So then that's because it's just we don't have the ability to do it. So in general, if overall our bhakti, our service is causing disruption, that's a good indication that we are going something beyond our ability. And then we need to maybe lower our goal so that we can serve in a way that doesn't cause disruption either to us or to others. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any comment?
Hare Krishna. It was very, very important topic I felt what Chaitanya Charan dealt with today. We have often heard about the spirit part, Bhavagrahi Janardana, you should have spirit, but he gave a very beautiful analysis of, great spirit and no spirit, and great quantity of service and, very insignificant quantity of service, and the relationship between the two, and with very profound examples for each of those items. It was very immensely valuable. I think worthy of contemplation by all the devotees, especially in the contemporary times when now all over the world the technology is increasing, and even all the devotees, even very, very new, young devotees also nowadays are in a kind of very spirited to do something great and prove themselves, and when they are unable to prove, they develop some inferiority complex or unhealthy comparisons and other things. So I felt that the topic you touched is very, very, very valuable and worthy of contemplation. I think you have given a lot of pointers for our contemplation and application. Thank you very much. Haribo.
Thank you so much. Good. Radheshyam is an example of both size and spirit. I've been going to America for the last 10 years, and in the last 3-4 years, Radheshyam started going and he's shaking America up now in a positive sense. There's so many devotees in so many temples, especially Boston and Brooklyn, two main places. But apart from that, Dallas and then in California and in several other places. So it's a great example for all of us how we can keep the spirit of service attitude and humility and dedication while also having more and more size. So I pray that I can follow in your footsteps in some small way, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. The Prabhupada ki, Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanande.